Okay. So how are you guys situated there? Are you in Austin right now?
I'm in Austin, and the company is located in Austin.
Oh, okay.
And
How long have you been there?
I have two colleagues of mine. I have my partner Igor Goldman, and I have our manufacturing guy Jose Irano.
Okay.
And we are working together for many years. Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's see if we got here. She's going to let in people pretty soon. Let's see. I have your information that I'll sort of introduce you with that I got from Catherine and from the Texas group. And so, is it Perifix?
Perifex, like peripheral.
Perifix?
Yeah.
Okay.
From peripheral neuropathy.
Perifex. Well, anyway, Perifex. Yeah.
Right.
Periphex.
Yes.
There we go. Just Periphex with an X. That makes it easier for me. Okay.
Perifex. Yeah.
All right. So I got one person already wanting to chat.
It looks like we got about 11 people in so far, so that's probably a good spot to get
why
going.
don't we go ahead and get started? Good. So go ahead and let them in, and then we'll get started right away.
Yep, okay. You can go ahead anytime. They'll just keep filtering through as we go.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So I would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to the June Western Neuropathy Association webinar with our goal of providing information to help you with your peripheral neuropathy. We have a very special guest speaker today, Dr. Yaniv. Dr. Yaniv is the CEO and Chief Technology Officer for Periphex Corporation in Austin, Texas. He's also the President and CEO of Advanced Technology Generator, a technology and think tank company. Dr. Yaniv is a scientist and inventor with over 300 patents. He has received numerous awards and is recognized worldwide for his inventions. Periphex develops products intended to reduce chronic conditions of the extremities, such as nerve pain, tingling, numbness, and loss of sensitivity. Dr. Yaniv will discuss Periphex nanobubbles of oxygen and carbon dioxide therapy. So without any further ado, I'd like to turn over the screen to Dr. Yaniv. All yours, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me to this webinar. And I will really enjoy to present to you the company called Periphex. And as the name says, Periphex, it's coming from peripheral neuropathy, that we have a new, well and efficient material to treat the symptoms of peripheral neuropathy. Now, I will tell you a little story for you to understand why a scientist in nanotechnology started to be worried about peripheral neuropathy. Okay, I'm pre-diabetic, like probably some of you. And what happened is that 2 years ago, I started not to feel the sole of my feet. When I say not to feel, even if I was walking on a flat surface, I had the impression that I walk on pebbles. And the reason was basically that some parts of my sole of the feet didn't sense. And basically, I walked on pebbles instead of flat surface. That was the case. So I went to my podiatrist, and my podiatrist did the test. I believe now that, not I believe, I'm sure now that it was the Weinstein filament test. And he came to the conclusion that I have peripheral neuropathy, being pre-diabetic. And he told me, you have peripheral neuropathy. This is the first time I learned about this sickness. And I asked him, okay, what is the cure? and he said, Dr. Yaniv, I will tell you the truth. I don't know any cure, but maybe with vitamins and maybe with some pills, if it's worse, we can somehow ease on you. And okay, I told him, fine. What are the vitamins? And he told me some B vitamins. I took for 1 month to 2 months the B vitamins, didn't help at all. And I went back to him and I said, okay, give me some pills. And he said, I remember his face, you know what I wanted to give you is Lyrica. And by the data I have from NIH, Lyrica is only, it's not so effective, sometimes effective against peripheral neuropathy, but the side effects are horrible. So I said to myself, okay, nothing to do. So what should I do? So take care of your feet and this and that, all the nice things that a podiatrist is telling you. And I went back. Now I'm experiencing podiatrists because I work with them. So I went back to my house, and I started to feel a little upset because I'm a nanotechnologist, meaning I deal with molecular science and molecular engineering. And as a result of that, I asked myself molecularly, at the level of the cell of the nerve, what the hell is going on? So I started to read papers. I can show you here, I don't know if you can see, but behind me here, there are hundreds and hundreds of papers related to peripheral neuropathy that I read. Took me 6 months. And I understood, as much as I am not a doctor, but as much as I am a scientist, I understood that peripheral neuropathy is related to hypoxiation of the cells of the nerve. Hypoxiation, who doesn't know, means lack of oxygen. And as a result of lack of oxygen, the nerve cells are basically hypoxiated, and basically they die. And if you look for cells hypoxiation, you have the same in cancer tumors, you have the same in many other, many maladies are related to hypoxiation, lack of oxygen. And I'm learning this, reading all these papers. So I decided, oh my God, if I can somehow treat myself with oxygen with my feet, would be fantastic. Let me see. Oxygen should do the job if I succeed to penetrate with specific oxygen into the tissue. So I started to learn about what to do. And here I went back to nanotechnology, and I learned that they exist what is called nanobubble of gas. You can make nanobubbles of oxygen, of any gas. These nanobubbles basically are very, very small. It's like 1,000 times less than 1 strand of hair, and 100 nanometer. And in order to compare, the pore of the skin is 10,000 nanometer, 100,000 nanometer. So you see the ratio, like 1 to 1,000, okay, or something like that. And in my mind, I said, okay, this should work because the nanobubbles are so small. How I do this topically? And I wanted to do it topically because is on the market hyperbaric, it's called hyperbaric cells equipment that can put you in a kind of chamber, and then they put oxygen at 5 times atmospheric pressure. And as a result of the pressure, oxygen penetrates a little to the skin, but more to the breathing. And they observe that this can not solve, but can ease a lot for a period of time on the peripheral neuropathy symptoms. Be pain, be tingling, be all this kind of symptoms. So I said, no, I cannot do that because this will cost me a fortune and cost a lot of money. And basically, again, the side effects are terrible because you basically put oxygen in your lungs at 5 times the oxygen pressure in the atmosphere. And this is not good for you. The lungs go bad and many other things. And I said, no, I want topically. And I wanted topically to make it because I didn't want to go to a doctor to do it. I wanted to do it home in order to avoid going, and so on and so on. So I started to think how I do that. Make a long story short, I developed a nanobubbler, an instrument that can make nanobubbles of oxygen in distilled water. And then I developed an emulsion that included gel emulsion that included these nanobubbles in this emulsion. And basically, I treated myself topically, as I will explain in my presentation. So this is where I'm coming from. I'm coming knowing what I have, understanding what is happening, and so on and so on. And this is the product that Perifex makes, and basically people treat themselves. Okay, now I will try to go to my presentation if there are no questions. Excuse me?
No, I was just saying, I think that's fine.
Okay, so I'll go to the share screen. Here?
Yes. Try window in the center here.
Allow.
Yes. Yes.
I cannot share.
Go ahead and click on window. Let's see if it'll let you share now. Okay. Are you able to see our screen right now?
No, I haven't. I'm not.
Okay.
Lindsay, are you on?
Right, let me try to share again. I try to share,
Okay.
and it doesn't want to share. Say cancel.
Yeah. Go ahead and cancel for now.
Okay, let's cancel.
Try it out.
Do it again. Okay, so I put share screen,
It
comes up,
Okay.
and then choose what to choose what to share.
Okay.
Choose what to share. So I need to go here. Choose what to share. Yeah, I'll do this. Everyone has a different style. It's crazy. Okay, Catherine, and here I got a presentation. Okay, and I go here, and this is what I want to share. Okay, you have it.
Are you able to see our screen?
You see it on the screen.
No.
No, I still see you. Is there a button that shows like to confirm the share screen?
Go back over here.
Help. Share.
Click on the center of the screen, see if it'll. Yeah, share. Okay, I think we're good.
There we are.
There we go.
All right, we got you.
You have my presentation.
No, you gotta go here. This one.
Yes.
You have,
Yes.
good.
Perfect.
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's clear. I mean, do you
Yes.
see? It's clear. Everyone can see the slides.
Yes.
So I'll not put the slides on the screen. I will leave it like that. It's okay.
Sure.
Okay. So the product of Perifex that I developed, it's called Noxy Pure. N comes from nanotechnology, and oxy is oxygen. I need to make a note here that we are not using only nanobubbles of oxygen. We are using also nanobubbles of carbon dioxide, CO2. And the reason is, not many know, that CO2 gas has tremendous oxygenation properties. It's called the Bohr effect, who is interested to read more about, and has another effect that basically enlarges the diameter of the capillary. So in this case, not only that I supply molecules of oxygen to the nerve cells, to each nerve cell, but also I increase the diameter of the capillary to basically the blood to flow a little better to the nerves, and as a result of that, bring nutrients more and even oxygen to the cell nerves. So we are talking about nanobubbles of oxygen and nanobubbles mixed in a emulsion. Now, you read already about this, and you read about Periphex, so I can go to the next slide. Okay, Periphex neuropathy, I'm sure that many of you know what I'm talking about. And there are many, many effects, many, like I saw, tingling and electrical shock pain and maximum pain, lower pain, and any other effects. And the trick is to treat your feet when you have this peripheral neuropathy from the beginning, and avoid development of ulcers or open wounds by all means. So this is why I developed this product for me, and then I decided to do it for other people, and basically to avoid complications. I talked about hyperbaric tank here, that is costly and also has tremendous side effects, and drugs that have side effects. And I wanted to find an alternative topical applications. Now, what is nanobubbles? By the way, on the left side, you see the bag, how the product comes to you, and basically the bag includes like almost 500 milliliter, half a liter of the emulsion, and you'll see how you treat yourself. You use one bag like that per foot, meaning if you treat both feet at once, you need to use for each one bag like that. Now, so as I said, nanobubbles on the right side are extremely small. The beauty is that these nanobubbles are persistent in water for weeks, months, and if the container is closed well, for years. And the reason is that when you create a gas nanobubble, the interaction between the nanobubble gas and the water is doing something fantastic. The nanobubble becomes charged. People that would like to ask why it's charged and they want an explanation, it's a little more scientific, I'll answer. I know why. And by becoming charged, basically they cannot connect to each other. They cannot grow a bigger bubble that for sure will go out of the water. So they repel each other, they attract each other, and they become in a stable equilibrium that basically these nanobubbles are for a very long time. The moment that you open the container, you start to treat, at least it's for 2-3 days, fine. You don't need to worry about the stability of the nanobubbles. So there are other properties. There are many applications of nanobubbles in different fields, from medicine to industry and so on. But we'll talk about peripheral neuropathy in this presentation. So, as I said, I learned that the peripheral neuropathy comes from nerve hypoxia and inflammation, and it's caused by diabetes. A large part of the population with diabetes and pre-diabetics have this problem, obesity. Toxic exposure, this is very, very important. People that do chemotherapy, they start to develop peripheral neuropathy because the toxins, and they have peripheral neuropathy that, again, we can treat symptoms. Unhealthy diet, vitamin deficiency, of course, and smoking. And all these causes create a constriction of the blood vessels at the extremities, meaning hands and feet, that basically this constriction results in supply of oxygen and nutrients lacking to the peripheral nerves. Now, I explained to you why I wanted to create nanobubbles of oxygen and carbon dioxide in distilled water for topical applications for the peripheral neuropathy. And the reason are a number of things. I need to mention that this is important. When you create, let me give you an example. The oxygen partial pressure. When I say partial pressure of oxygen, it's only the pressure that oxygen molecules create in a gas, like air. So, or only the pressure that oxygen creates in distilled water, in water. Now, if you take from your faucet water and measure the concentration of oxygen in the water, you'll have it like 7 milligrams per liter of oxygen. Now, when I use nanobubbles, I introduce nanobubbles in the same water, I can achieve 50, even 55 milligrams per liter, meaning I can increase the concentration of oxygen, let's say 7 times or 8 times. And this creates a tremendous pressure, partial pressure of oxygen that helps, because the pressure in the tissue is much lower than the oxygen in my topical application, helps to create a gradient of pressure and pushes the oxygen even harder through the pores. So this gas is electrically charged. It's very stable, as I explained. It's very, very small. This is why it may become electrically charged, deep tissue penetration, and basically can be a very good wellness product. This is how we sell it before we do any other approvals. Now, the reason is, as many people say, that this includes only distilled water, oxygen that we breathe, and CO2 that we breathe. So, but still, maybe this is why we don't treat open wounds. On the product, it's clear, because to treat open wounds, that I believe will work very well, we need FDA approval. So the product today is a wellness product. We did IRB. IRB is an investigation research board that needs approval. You need approval to do a clinical study. We did a clinical study. I'll talk about that. We do 2 clinical studies that we publish now in the Diabetes Science and Technology Journal. And I believe we are the only one. I believe that we are only ones that did for a wellness product that helps peripheral neuropathy. We did these clinical studies with results and published papers. Going forward, how this is used. So the idea is oxygenation, oxygen and CO2 nanobubbles, reduce cell hypoxia, and then relief. Obviously, this relief, it's after a treatment, and I'll explain to you the treatment immediately. It's not forever, it's for 3 or 4 months, and then must be repeated. So people need to repeat this treatment probably for some 3 times, for some 4 times a year, very rare 5 times a year. Now, what is, and again, the product is on your left side, and the characteristics of this product is topical applications, simple and easy home care, not invasive, drug-free, natural, totally natural, as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and distilled water, and has months of lasting effects. As you can see in the square here, we recommend 5 treatments. For 5 treatments for both feet, each treatment using 2 pouches. So in the product, you'll get 10 pouches for 5 treatments that you do any other day. And then you'll have really a good situation, less peripheral neuropathy pain and so on for at least 3 to 4 months. And once you feel a little funny, like I feel funny when I start to lose my equilibrium or I cannot walk the 2 miles that I want to walk every day, then I do another treatment of 5 treatments, I mean 10 bags like that. Now, in this picture, you can see the, because it's very interesting to see how they look. There's equipment in the world developed in Japan, in England, United States, that one can measure the gas nanobubbles in water and also measure their concentration. So if someone is interested, you can see in the picture these nanobubbles. The largest one are like 200 nanometer in diameter, and you have very small ones that probably are around 50. So you have a distribution of nanobubbles between 50 nanometer and let's say 250 nanometer, with a peak, with the majority around 100 nanometer. And this, I have the data. This was demonstrated by the Japanese labs, by the England labs, and really we achieve 10 to power 9, meaning we achieve 1 billion nanobubbles per milliliter, and per milliliter, per centimeter cube. So you understand the density of this nanobubbles. So basically, we have a product that is topically managed and basically has huge concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide nanobubbles with a partial pressure of the gas that is 5, 6, 7 times larger than the partial pressure, or even 8 times partial pressure in the tissue. And this is what we treat, how we treat and give to the cells of the nerve what they need to become more functional, to get out of their hypoxia, at least for a period of time. There are 2 doctors that basically helped us a lot, Dr. Green and Dr. Lamour. Dr. Lamour was the person that told me that I have peripheral neuropathy. And when he learned about how I do what I do to improve the results of the Weinstein filament score, he said, okay, let's make a company, I invest. That was not so easy. Now, we publish clinical results, as I said, and another publication is coming very soon. And here I show the results of NoxyPure vis-a-vis NIH published results using gabapentin and Lyrica versus placebo. And you can see that the results are that we are basically 62% of the people improve their symptoms with gabapentin 40% and so on and so on. So comparing, we are in good shape. And this was published at American College of Foot and Ankle Surgeons, and also at the meeting of podiatrists in I think also San Antonio. Now, comparing existing treatments with what we do today, I have here all the treatments that I could find: supplements, physical therapy, topical gadgets. Topical gadgets, I mean all kinds of lotions that are recommended, near-infrared laser, drugs. I talk about Lyrica and others. Hyperbaric tank, the one that they put you inside and put a lot of oxygen, 5 times the atmospheric pressure, and our product. our product really compares very, very well in cost and efficacy and all that. And it's home care that is very important, but it's still, it's cash. Okay, so this is a negative here. If you look on our website, www.perifex.com, you will have a lot of testimonials. You see some here, and you can read them what they say. But I don't know if one of that I like the most is here. No, the one that I like the most is a gentleman that told me that after the treatment was the first time that he could put his pants standing. And this was beautiful because I can do this today also, that I couldn't do it before. So yeah, so we are coming to the end of my presentation. You can see here, and we can see it on the web also, how the booties are. We send booties and whatever necessary to clean the feet after the treatment. And basically, you take the content of the bag, content of the pouch, put it in the bag. You put the foot inside for 20 minutes. Some people do 30 minutes watching TV. Don't walk on these booties. You need to clean the foot before, and everything gets written on the pouch. Okay, I'll stop here and I will wait for questions.
Let me take a look here at the questions. Can you give us an idea what the cost is?
Yes, today the 5 treatments is $99,
Okay.
including shipping, and the next products will, already we dropped for special customers to see how they can use their money a little more productive. We'll reduce the price probably to $59.
So I have a question here that says, even though this product was developed for diabetic neuropathy, is there evidence that it can help to alleviate pain caused by CIDP? Okay,
I don't know what the CIDPE, if you can tell me.
So maybe this person will tell us what the CIDP
is. Okay, so the general answer is that if this sickness is created due to hypoxia of cell nerves, this will work.
Okay,
But
I think that's pretty clear. Yeah.
If it's coming from bones, for example, we demonstrated that this works very well for plantar fasciitis, as an example. Okay.
How about a few more questions, folks? So I don't see too many questions for some reason. All right. Oftentimes we don't get too many. Sometimes we just get, interest in it and then they'll follow up. But this sounds really interesting. And I know for me, I am personally going to try this because I've never heard of this until now. And I definitely would like to try reducing the pain that I have. So I'm very excited about it. So this is really excellent.
Thank you.
So let's see here. And it says, does it work with all types of neuropathy? Well, again, it depends what you were saying as whether, it's related to hypoxia or not.
Neuropathy is related to hypoxia.
And the answer is yes, right?
Yes. But now how to deliver to the place of neuropathy, it's a question, because we developed the system only for feet and hands.
Okay.
But if you have general neuropathy, we never treated that, but in principle should work.
Yeah. So another question is, what kind of side effects?
No side effects whatsoever. Only don't walk with the booties. The side effect can be you break something, okay? So don't walk with the Buddhist. Put it, sit on a chair, 20 minutes, watch TV, clean the food, then you can walk.
Okay. How do you store the material once you receive it?
The material, again, you receive the box, you use this box like you use the treatments of 2 pouches for the feet. 1 pouch per foot. If you treat 2 feet, it's 2 pouches. This is 1 treatment. And you need to repeat this 5 times. And as a result of that, every second, third day, so the maximum will be 5 times, like 15 days, 2 weeks. Now, during this 15 weeks, the material is in the pouch. This pouch is an aluminum pouch that doesn't, oxygen or carbon dioxide cannot go out, very well sealed. We demonstrated already that the pressure of oxygen stays high for 2 years already. I put some pouches on the side for 2 years. And I measured, so in the pouch, meaning the product sits on the shelf 2 years, no problem.
At room temperature, basically.
Yes, at room temperature, basically. Now, if you chill at a certain temperature, it's doing very well. If you heat, you create some more pressure in the bag. But this one should be 100 degrees, 50 degrees, something like that.
Okay.
Now, but home, when you get the package for the 5 treatments, you don't have any problem.
Okay. So it says, should I see the results immediately?
Oh, it's a very good question. In our studies, by the way, these studies, I cannot put them on the website, the results, until the journal doesn't publish the paper. So we are fighting with the journal to publish the paper. Once we have that, I will put the results of the paper on the website. But for your association, if someone is asking me to send them electronically the paper, and he promises not to publish it, then I will do so. It's very good information, very good information. And basically, it's a good question. In the study, we did 10 treatments. Instead of 5, we did 10 because we wanted to see the progression of the improvement. But this was a study. We observed that 5 treatments for the majority of the people, this works. And this is why we decided to provide 5 treatments or 10 pouches. And very interesting. After the 10th treatment was a very good improvement in all types. We studied 5 types of pain, maximum and minimum, meaning minimum you can live with that, maximum it's terrible pain, and for all kind of the pain that natural pain, 5 types. And we observe that after 10 treatments, everyone is good, but the majority are in good situation after 5 treatments. And what happens is that you feel an improvement after the 10th treatment for sure, but the maximum improvement, you get it 1 month after the treatment, because it's a kind of lag, time lag, okay? Because the reactions and the charging of oxygen, it's a reaction. It's taking time. But after 3-4 months, again, as I said, the quality of the control of the symptoms drops, and everyone individually, because you know the skin for every person is different in thickness and so on. So once you feel funny, you need to repeat the treatment.
Okay, another question is, will you give Western Neuropathy customers the $55 price if for both feet need 10? There are 2 of us, so needs 20, if not 55 quantity discount. I guess they're looking to see if you would give them a discount.
Yes, the answer is very good question. and I forgot to tell you that due to the fact that I made this, yes, will $59. So how we do that, I will put on the website, I will ask my software people to put on a website a bonus for you. And
Okay.
when you order, you pick the bonus and the price will be $59.
Okay, sounds great. So the next
So-
question I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Go.
Okay, so the next question is, I'm using, let's see, I'm using this and it really helps the burning that I feel at night. So that was a comment by someone who's already using your product.
And I heard this many, many times. This burning sensation, I had burning sensation. And helped a lot for me. And I'm happy that I hear this comment, very happy.
Yeah. So one of the things I have often at night is sort of muscle cramps in my feet.
Yeah.
I mean, really not like that painful, but they just are really irritating.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Are you sure that it's coming from peripheral neuropathy?
no, I had assumed they were, since that's what I've been diagnosed with, but it's really been really painful sometimes. So I'm
Okay,
wondering, does that treat any of that?
try that. Try. I'll put a bonus. Probably by tomorrow, the bonus will be there for you. And when you order, click on the bonus. The price will be not 99, it will be 59.
Okay, we appreciate that. So let me see if I got any more in the question and answer area. So let's see. So Nancy, the person who asked about CIDP says CIDP, chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy. It's an autoimmune disease caused by antibodies.
Yes, yes. Polyneuropathy, but the question is, does she have it in the feet, in the extremities?
Hmm.
Because polyneuropathy can appear in many parts of the body.
Yeah.
And then the question is how
Your
you
feet
deliver.
and hands, right?
So the answer is, if this polyneuropathy is in the extremities, this may help.
Okay. 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 Does it help with burning pain? I think someone already said that it did.
Yeah.
May I, I may have missed this, but within the first 5 treatments within so it says, but with the first 5 treatments within a box, how many days should there be between each treatment?
1 to 2 days, meaning I prefer 10 days, meaning every second day, to finish the 5 treatments, or a week, 2 weeks maximum.
Okay. The next is, as my neuropathy progresses, will the effects of the nanobubbles decrease?
This is a very, very good question. Okay. We never tried, we never analyzed that, but looking to the situation, and I'll suggest something else. I gave an interview on YouTube, and the interview was with Dr. Let's see here, Dr. Shagun, S-H-A-G-U-N, Shagun Bindish, B-I-N-D-I-S-H, Shagun Bendish. She is a diabetologist in San Francisco, and she is a member of the Diabetic Association, American Diabetic, ADA, American Diabetic Association. The interview, look for her name, is with me, related to peripheral neuropathy. And there's like 30 minutes. And in this interview, the answer is, in the moment that you have peripheral neuropathy, the best is to treat this immediately.
Mhm.
Meaning, don't let the peripheral neuropathy to go to a stage that you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
So my answer is, like she says, diabetics and pre-diabetics, look at your feet. Look at them every week. Look at them, see what is going on, and if you feel funny, start to treat, whatever the treatment is.
Okay. So there was someone who said that, let's see, I think I have peripheral neuropathy in my hands and maybe starting in my nose and face. So the hands, this will help, but not the nose and face.
Oh no, if it's peripheral, if it's neuropathy, the nose and face, if it is, this may help, but we need to think about the delivery method.
Ah,
The delivery method, feet and hands. Hands is a glove that you put the material in the plastic glove and you put the hands in. It's the same like, but for other parts of the body, I need to think. So we are discussing internally about having some patches that you can put, but the product is in development.
okay. All right, I think that really covers all the questions so far that I've seen. And I think that we can actually end. Thank you very much for an excellent presentation and a very interesting and hopefully positive therapy that many of us have never heard of before. So I'm looking forward to trying and see if it helps. And thank
Excellent.
you.
Thank you very much for
Thank you
inviting.
very much. Appreciate it. Please have a good evening.
The same. You have good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.